What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you on Wednesday morning. Hope everybody's doing good today. It is time to do some picks against the spread. It is week 0. It is finally here. Talking season is over. Well, not officially over. Most of us still have one more week and some change to go before our teams actually put toe to leather. But there are games this weekend, only one of which you probably have a whole lot of interest in. However, I'm going to break them down as much as I can here and give you my best bet for these games. So, before we get into that, if you're new around here, stay true around here. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing to the Carolina Jackpot channel. We'll do college football talk here all year long, and we will do picks against the spread every week. First matchup I want to talk about is actually the last matchup in terms of when it kicks off, which will be at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday night. They did that so this game would be played on Saturday, not Sunday. In Hawaii, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors welcoming Delaware State from the MEAC into Honolulu. And I don't know if anybody saw this one over on X, but the Delaware State team actually missed the bus that was going to carry them to the airport. So, in turn, they missed their flight to Hawaii. So, I guess they've gotten it rescheduled. I don't know. They'll play a game. But that notwithstanding, this team was 1-10 last year. And I knew that travel would be an issue. This is a small school, an FCS program. Small budget. I mean, this is not like Alabama flying over to Hawaii, okay? The travel is going to be a little bit more difficult for them. And then on top of that, the team is just not good, top to bottom, very, very weak. Hawaii's returning about a 3,500-yard passer and a 1,000-yard receiver, although that quarterback did throw interceptions like he was getting paid a bonus to do so. I still think Hawaii covers this spread. It's sitting at 38.5 right now. It was 39.5. Why it would come down after that news with the travel delay, I have no clue. But I don't know if they have an injury or something. But give me Hawaii to cover that anyway. I think they win big. Delaware State is just, they're not good. Montana State goes on the road to take on New Mexico. This is an interesting matchup. You have Montana State out of the FCS Big Sky Conference actually laying 10.5 on the highway in Albuquerque against the FBS New Mexico Lobos, who feature a brand new head coach in Bronco Mendenhall. If you'll remember, he did a really good job at BYU. And then he did a pretty respectable job at Virginia after that. After Bronco Mendenhall left, Virginia's kind of fallen on some tough times. Montana State favored, obviously. This team is perennially like a top 5, top 10-ish team in FCS. New Mexico picked to finish near the bottom of the Mountain West Conference. Montana State solid on both sides of the ball. But New Mexico has brought in some transfers there. I think they're going to have a rough first year. However, 10.5 points does seem to be a little bit too much to be catching against an FCS team at home, especially with a coach as good as a Bronco Mendenhall, a good game day coach, good motivator. Give me New Mexico State. New Mexico, excuse me. I keep talking. We talked about New Mexico State a lot last year. They did some pretty good things. Give me New Mexico to cover the number here. I think they keep it within that 10.5. Probably lose this game by about a touchdown. I still think Montana State is overall a better team. It's not unfathomable to think some of these teams that are really, really high up in the FCS level are on par or better than some of the lower level FBS teams. But give me New Mexico to cover at home against Montana State. Third game I want to talk about here, SMU goes on the road to take on Nevada. Nevada, not the Running Rebels. This is the Nevada Wolfpack in Reno. Another team that is picked to finish near the bottom of the Mountain West Conference, and they also, in addition to having a first-year head coach, a poor roster, basically no receiving talent, they lost their quarterback. He's out for the year. None of that is good. It wasn't good to begin with. SMU, brand new into the Atlantic Coast Conference, coming over from the AAC. They're moving up to the Power 4 level, which SMU was a charter member of the Southwest Conference years and years ago. Of course, they got hit with the death penalty for the whole cheating thing that they got caught for back in the 80s. And that program has probably just in the last 10 years or so really started to make a mark again. And they're almost all the way back now. I'm going to lean here with SMU in this game to cover. They bring back Preston Stone, really talented quarterback, threw for a ton of yards last year. Running game is solid. And Rhett Lashley does have a tendency to run scores up when they're a big favorite. And, all you got to do is look at last year, a game on the road against Temple. They were a 20-something point favorite, and they won like 55-0. They also ran the score up against Navy late in the season. I think that they go on the road here and they make a huge statement. They don't have to worry about. Sometimes we talk about, well, next week you don't want to show anything because next week you got a big opponent. Next week they play Houston Christian, which is an FCS team. So, they're not going to be concerned about opening the playbook up, and they're going to pour it on Nevada. I'm not worried about the thin air situation. A lot of people like to think about stuff like this and just tend to overanalyze things. These programs now, they are actually equipped to kind of simulate or mimic these kind of things. They know what they're going to be dealing with. So give me SMU. I think they blow them out. And then we want to talk FSU, Georgia Tech. That is the game that everybody has circled as the big one for the weekend for obvious reasons. Both Power 4 conference teams, both ACC teams. Florida State picked by many to win the ACC. This one's going to kick off at 12 Eastern from Dublin, Ireland. I wish they had put the kickoff for this one at the same time they did the ones the past 2 years. I think those kicked off at like 2 or 3. But it'll actually kick off at 5 o'clock in Ireland, their time. So maybe they wanted to, get the thing over with before too late in the evening. I don't know, maybe people need to go drink some red beer or pick shamrocks or potatoes or whatever it is they do in their spare time. Florida State right now, it's sitting at about a 10.5, 11-point favorite. That's been bet down a lot. It opened up at like Florida State minus 13.5, 14, and it has swung in recent weeks to Florida State minus 10.5 to 11, depending on where you're looking at. Look, a lot of money there is coming in on Georgia Tech, a lot of love coming in on Georgia Tech, and I kind of get it. They have a lot of offensive weapons back, and it's, when we just look at the quarterback matchup in this game, Haynes King, the quarterback for Georgia Tech, versus DJ Uiagalelei, the signal caller for Florida State, who just transferred over from Oregon State. Many of us remember him from his time at Clemson. He was there for a couple of years. Georgia Tech clearly has the advantage here in terms of quarterback. Just as far as you're talking about one who can throw it and pass it. DJ struggles a lot in the pass game. Now, Haynes King actually, DJ Uiagalelei is a decent runner of the football. He's a big body, can be tough to bring down. But Haynes King actually rushed for about 700 yards last year. So I'd give him the edge there. And even though Haynes King put up 26 touchdowns while tossing 14 interceptions last year, here's another guy who acts like he's getting paid a bonus to throw picks. I still think, in terms of the vertical passing game, that Haynes King is more effective than DJ Uwe. I don't know why I said that. More effective than DJ Uiagalelei. This guy's struggled to push the ball down the field at times. This game's going to be actually won on the lines of scrimmage, both defensively and offensively. And I think Florida State's better on both. Their defensive line especially. Marvin Jones Jr., the transfer from Georgia, and then they have Patrick Payton, an all-ACC type player up there. Could be one of the best defensive lines in the country. Georgia Tech surrendered a ton of points last year. However, they brought in a new defensive coordinator. His name is Tyler Sunseri, I believe. He is a Mike Elko disciple. He was with him last year at Duke, and he's also been on the staff at Texas A&M when Elko was there. So they have the potential to be solid, I think, eventually. Whether that's going to be this year, I don't know. In this game, I'm not sure. I know Florida State's offense, they're going to take a step back. Okay, rushing the football, you lost Trey Benson. You bring in Roy Dell Williams from Alabama. But all these pieces have got to kind of mesh together. I think the smart play here would be to take the under, because I think Florida State's defense is going to kind of control the tempo of this game. And with Georgia Tech, I think they may be trying to rely on a turnover or something to kind of maybe swing the momentum. I could see this game end up being like the over-under. The over's like 56, by the way, the point spread total. I didn't even say that one. I could see a 31-20 game, a 34-21. Just comes in just under the number. I think some points will be scored here, especially I think probably in the second half once everybody gets their footing under them. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either to see like a 24-20 type of deal here. But in terms of just the point spread, I think Florida State's going to cover that. If it's at 10.5, I would roll with Florida State. I think this is a game that's probably going to be close at halftime, maybe close into the fourth quarter, but I think Florida State's got better athletes. They got a little bit better depth. I think they win this ball game. I think they'll cover that spread. Now, I actually bet it months and months ago with one Uncle Lou when it was FSU, I think, minus 14. Now, I took that bet because I like it at minus like 14 or 13.5, but I don't like it at minus 10.5. I would stay away from that. I would go for the points total on that one with the smart money, and I would go under. So let me know what you think down below. Everybody is excited, and we are ready for college football to be back, and by golly, it's here. I'll see you guys later on. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day today. Make sure you tune into the live show tonight. Get into the contest. Links down in the description box below. You still have time to enter. You still have a week and a half to enter. Really, our pot, when I checked on it, it's right around $2,200 right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to get to 3,000, and time's a ticket on that one. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!